Their home white uniforms trimmed with red. A good crowd still filing here at the Athletic Center. They expect between 6,000 and 7,000 for this doubleheader. And there are people way up top at the Athletic Center here. Temple wins the tap, and this ball game is underway. The Owls will move left to right on your screen. This is Breeswick, number 32, and Mark Macon at the top of the key. Sensational freshman guard for Temple. Howard Evans and Breeswick outside. Whistle and a foul underneath already.
And Rutgers not wasting any time. They're starting in man-to-man, and it presents a very interesting matchup with Tim Perry of Temple and Lee Perry of Rutgers playing his brother.
This is Howard Evans, number 21. Temple, an outstanding outside shooting team. Macon bangs it home off that first shot.
And a great example of that. And of course, Rutgers was in a zone defense that time only because they zone all end line out of bounds. We'll see if they come back and stay with the primary defense as man-to-man.
And of course, a Philadelphia tradition as the toilet tissue comes flying onto the court after the first basket is made. Craig Carter will bring it across for RU. The Knights trail 2-0, just underway, first half. Savage moves in the lane, loses the handle, and Evans retrieves for the Owls. Howard Evans, the senior from West Philadelphia. Here's Macon, loses the handle, baseline jumper, good! Mark Macon.
Wasting no time, both sides of the court. Last time it was the left side down for the jumper. That time he took it inside from the right side.
4-0, Temple on top early. Savage in the corner. This is Darren Campbell. Moves to the top of the circle. Savage outside, standing in three-point range. Carter looks to get it inside. Moves in the paint, and it is whacked away by Tim Perry, but the foul inside on Temple.
Looks like Rutgers offensively wants to penetrate. That is a little bit dangerous because of Perry and Rivas in there. Perry, of course, ranked in the NCAA in shot blocking, and he really leads the Temple team in that.
Craig Carter is at the line. He will shoot too. 69% free throw shooter, and that one did not go. He'll get another. Second is on the way, and good. So he hits 1 of 2, and Rutgers is on the board. Temple leads it by the score of 5-1. They say that was a three-pointer, that first Temple shot. So it is 5-1 and not 4-1. Evans for 3. No good. Rebound knocked around underneath. Peterson saves. Good job by Lee Perry underneath to get his hands on the ball. And Carter brings it across as Rutgers trails by 4. Savage for 3. Off the front of the rim. Rebound Macon.
Rutgers now switched to the zone defense, so maybe they just showed that man-to-man first time down.
Macon for 3. Yes. 8-1 Temple. They have hit 2 3-pointers in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Mark Macon, one of the first players that John Chaney has given permission to take any shot that he wants to take.
Breeswick on the foul as he knocks Savage out of bounds. Temple, an outstanding three-point shooting team. And of course, Howard Evans, unbelievable three-point shooter. He is 53% from three-point range.
And that ranks him, at least as of Monday, 12th in the nation in that category.
Here is Savage, Carter outside. Savage, Temple really playing some good defense. Rutgers cannot get the ball in. Savage, Campbell. Around the perimeter, Peterson open, puts it up, no good. Rebound knocked around, and Peterson regains. Puts it up, good. The hook shot over Rivas.
And I like what I saw on Mark Peterson that time. He's playing very aggressive. He got the ball inside, took it to the hoop on Rivas, got the rebound, didn't throw it out, took it to the hoop again. That was a great move by Peterson, who's really coming on strong.
Inside, knocked away by Savage, but regained by Temple. Evans outside, and now he'll set it up. Inside they go. Tim Perry slams it through with authority.
That's one thing that Temple does very rarely, and that's turn the ball over almost that time, but not quite, averaging about 9 turnovers per game, and that's very low.
Here is Campbell. Inside pass. Peterson puts it up too hard off the glass. Rebound knocked around Evans, and Temple with a 2-on-4. Vrieswijk moves baseline, pumps it up. It doesn't go, but the foul is on Carter. That'll be the second team foul on Rutgers. And Steve Watson is coming into the game for the Scarlet Knights, and Tom Savage will sit down. So Watson comes into the game. That's his first appearance, first man off the bench for Craig Littlepage.
Watson obviously gives Rutgers a little bit of a threat on that perimeter because that's his strength.
Vrieswijk at the line, hits the free throw. Excuse me, Mike Vrieswijk, 88% free throw shooter, which is outstanding. Second on the way and good. He hits both. Temple is off to an impressive lead. The Owls lead at 12-3, 16:25 remaining first half.
Temple playing what they call match-up defense. They'll come down, set up in the zone, but then they'll match up and stay with their players.
Campbell for 3. Knocked away. The foul is on Watson. Craig Littlepage telling his team to calm down a little bit. I don't think Craig is real thrilled with all these three-point shots that the Knights are taking.
I think he wants them to be a little bit more patient. They're giving up a little bit of size inside, so they got to make sure when they get that shot, it's a good percentage shot.
Howard Evans, bounce pass, Vrieswijk for 3.
Temple seems to have that spot marked on the floor. That's the exact spot Mark Macon opened the game with that three-point shot.
15-3, Temple on top. Very difficult to play head up with a team like this because every time you score 2, they score 3. Watson for 3. This is a three-point festival. Here comes Evans across the midcourt line. Bounce pass, Macon loses the handle, but back out to Evans. Bounce pass inside, Perry, the hook is good.
That's what makes them so tough. They come down last time and hit the three-pointer. This time they come down and go inside, either inside or outside.
The Temple crowd is on its feet. Craig Littlepage calls timeout. 15:22 remaining first half. Temple leads it 17-3.
Please volunteer for the American Red Cross.
It's three-point madness here at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center. Temple has hit 3 out of 4 three-point attempts. Rutgers 0 for 3. A lot of three-point shots being chucked up. This is not a new phenomenon, though, for Temple. Just the other night against Duquesne, they set an Atlantic 10 conference record with 15 three-point field goals.
I remember when they came into the RAC when the Atlantic 10 was one of the first conferences to experiment with that three-point shot, and it was exciting in those days. Now you expect that shot, and it doesn't seem as great a distance as it used to, but Temple fired them up.
17-3, a 14-point Owl lead. Watson for 3, doesn't go. Rebound, Peterson underneath, puts it up, no good. Rivas the rebound.
Three-point shots, Rutgers 0 for 4, Temple 3 for 4.
Here is Macon. Evans, high over his head, inside Rivas. The turnaround is good. Temple on fire. I don't know what their shooting percentage is, but it's got to be around 80% so far.
And they can pick any player and drop it inside. Rivas has a great move. Perry has a great move.
Peterson got good position, but blows the layup. Vrieswijk in the paint. No good, but draws the foul. I believe it'll be on Watson.
You got to like Mark Peterson, though. At least he's taking it to the basket. He's not allowing the Temple inside players to intimidate him at all, and he just had a difficult time. That ball was in the basket and back out.
Mike Rieswick at the line, and he is almost automatic from the charity stripe. Peterson comes out, and Anthony Duckett will come into the game. We mentioned that we had Duckett originally in the starting lineup, but he has been injured the last week and a half, and very questionable today. Apparently well enough to play, and he gives Peterson a breather. Rieswick hits the first free throw. The second is on the way and good. Temple has exploded to an 18-point lead. The Owls lead 21-3.
And we talked about Rutgers shooting percentage. Not quite sure what it is, but Temple is leading #1 in the NCAA in defensive field goal percentage, holding teams to 38.5%.
Carter got good position, but a poor shot. Savage puts it up, no good. Tip up by Duckett, no good. Rebound up, no good. And Rivas with the rebound. 4 shots at the basket for Rutgers, none fall. Here comes Evans quickly. Now he'll pull up. Mark Macon outside. Rieswick and a whistle. Underneath, the foul will be on the Scarlet Knights.
On Anthony Duckett working too hard to get over top of Rivas. Rutgers going back to that man-to-man defense and going back down the other end of the offense. They're really giving up some size inside. That makes it a little bit more difficult to make that shot. At least they're making the effort of going to the boards.
Rieswick for 3. In and out. Rebound Duckett. Rutgers needs a field goal, and that's an understatement. Here comes Carter across the midcourt line, and Watson outside. Around the perimeter to pass the basketball. Watson looks for help, finds Lee Perry in the corner. Inside Duckett, puts it up, in, and the foul.
Of course, Rutgers staying with their game plan. They just have not been able to score consistently from the outside. Temple realizes that, will dare him to take that outside shot. Rutgers continuing to work it inside, did it effectively that time.
And Craig Littlepage applauding that play, and a well-executed play by Rutgers. First substitution of the game for Temple as Rivas comes out, and coming into the game for the Owls, number 31, Dwayne Causwell, a 6'11 sophomore from Queens Village, New York.
Sat out last year, a Proposition 48 player. Couldn't practice, so this is really his freshman year, if you will.
21-6 as the three-point play is converted. 13 minutes remaining first half. Macon outside being played by Savage. Rieswick bounce pass inside Perry, knocked around by Duckett, and Carter the other way. He turns on the burners across the midcourt line. Watson for 3, no good. Rebound up over the backboard, and it will be Temple's ball.
Rutgers looking for a little transition game there, and I think they have to do that because that could be one of the ways they can score against Temple. Bring it down before that matchup zone is set.
Rieswick bounce pass Macon, shovels back to Rieswick. The Owls looking to set up. Howard Evans inside, Perry slams it through.
Perry like in Tim scoring against Perry like in Lee, and Lee working very hard to contain his brother, but giving up a little bit of size there.
Bounce pass inside. Duckett is hammered underneath the basket. They'll call the foul, I believe, on Macon.
Got to remember, Mark Macon's a guard, and yet he's gone down in there and defending that basket inside.
That is Mark Macon's first personal foul for the Owls, their 4th team foul, and Anthony Duckett will go to the line. 76% free throw shooter on the year, and he does not get the roll on the first.
Mark Macon at 6'5" and a guard. Great size for a guard.
Second on the way, no good. So Duckett misses both.
And Rutgers, of course, cannot afford to miss the givens, which are foul shots. Got to make those.
Carter with the steal. Lays it up and in. Nice play by Craig Carter.
One of the very few times you'll see Temple turn it over. Rutgers converting on that one.
23-8. Temple by 15. 11:40 remaining first half. Howard Evans behind the back. in the paint now. Outside to Macon. This will be a two-pointer. It's short. And Duckett, the rebound.
Difference that time, Rutgers man-to-man puts a little bit more pressure on the shooter. Doesn't have quite as much time to get ready.
Macon with the steal. Craig Littlepage is incensed. Evans lays it up and draws the foul. Littlepage cannot believe that Macon was not called for a foul on that steal.
A lot of contact over there, and of course Rutgers can't afford to turn it over. They have been averaging about 20 turnovers a game.
You saw something there, though. Rutgers throwing that long pass, and against a team like Temple, which reacts so quickly, not a good idea. Evans at the line, hits. Temple is a good free throw shooting team, 73% as a team. And you can see Evans, 82% from the charity stripe. His second is up, in and out, rebound, Duckett. Saw something interesting there. Temple pulled all of its rebounders back. Didn't even go for the rebound on the second shot. 24-8, 11 minutes remaining first half. Campbell. Lee Perry inside, knocked away from Carter. Reeswick up to Evans with a burst to the basket. He lays it in from the left side.
Chalk up another turnover for Rutgers, converted to 2 points by Temple.
Savage for three, no good. And the rebound to Coswell. 26-8, Temple on top. Not too much for the Rutgers fans to cheer about so far. Evans is wide open. He fires and hits. That's a two-pointer. And Craig Littlepage wants a timeout. 10 minutes, 24 seconds remaining first half. Temple is in control. The Owls lead by 20, 28-8.
.5 tons of some of the most effective firefighting equipment on wheels. Over 4,000 feet of hose and the power to drown a fire with 750 gallons of water a minute. But without the firefighters to man her. Join your volunteer fire department. With your support, help is on the way.
There's a look at the big crowd here at Rutgers. So far, Dick, they've been witnessing a very good shooting exhibition by Temple.
Extremely good, and the interesting thing there is Temple is a good shooting club, but not 71%, and that's what they're shooting. Now, you got a great team coming in here, so you're going to have to play your best game, and what do? They start the game, first 10 minutes of first half, and they shoot 71%, and you shoot 18%. Tough stats to be on one side of.
Quite a disparity in the shooting percentages. The Knights have had trouble shooting this year, only 42% coming in.
And it isn't necessarily the defense, because many of those shots have been from the outside and with good pressure on the shooter.
Duckett loses the handle. Campbell. Well, the cheerleaders and the band here at Rutgers trying to get the Knights fired up. Here's Lee Perry with a good baseline shot, but it just doesn't go. Evans has the basketball for Temple.
Rutgers worked the ball around very nicely, but you could see Perry lost the ball going up, was not set with it.
Reeswick, Evans for three, short. Evans was so open, he was in shock. He didn't know what to do.
Too much time to think about it.
Here is Carter. Duckett. Lee Perry, baseline jumper, no good. Rebound knocked around, lost, and it should be Rutgers' ball, last touched by Howard Evans.
Interesting, the Temple team plays with very little emotion. John Chaney doesn't believe on that. He said you can't sustain emotion. No high fives, no hot dogging, just tough basketball.
Great pass by Carter. Perry is fouled from behind by Coswell. Coswell thought he had a clean block, but he did get Perry with the body. Nice pass by Craig Carter.
Great pass. Rutgers is getting it inside, but they're giving up so much on the sides. It's a little difficult to score. And, of course, when they've been fouled down there, they've got to make the foul shots. Got to make both of them.
Lee Perry is at the line, 77% free throw shooter. And his first is good.
You're talking about Dwayne Causwell at 6'11", and he plays big, and Lee Perry's at 6'7".
And the second is on the way, and good. So Perry hits both. Tom Savage is into the game, and Perry will sit down. There's John Chaney, extremely successful head coach of Temple, and Craig Littlepage trying to get his team off the mat, so to speak.
Both coaches from the Philly area, Ben Franklin High School in Philadelphia for John Chaney, Cheltenham High School, suburban Philadelphia for Craig Littlepage.
Whistle. Underneath, the foul is on Savage, I believe. Of course, John Chaney, former coach of Chaney State before coming to Temple, and Craig Littlepage coaching at Penn. So as you mentioned, Dick, a definite Philadelphia flavor for both coaches.
John Chaney at Chaney. Interesting, he must have coached so well they named the school after him. But he won that Division II national championship.
This is Tim Perry at the line. And he hits the first.
John Chaney talking about Tim Perry, and the reason he feels he'll probably go very high in the NBA draft. He plays inside. He doesn't go off the block much for Temple, but he says he's got the ability to come out, even hit in three-point range.
Second, no good. Rebound to Campbell. 29-10. Temple by 19. We're under 9 minutes remaining first half.
But I make that comment, and then I look at the statistics, and he's shooting 62% from the field, and that's because most are inside and only 62% from the foul line.
Duckett blocked by Tim Perry, who is playing an excellent ball game for the Owls underneath. Evans fouled by Carter at the top of the key. Game has really slowed down over the last few minutes.
Tim Perry, we mentioned ranking nationally in the NCAA. He's 8th in the country in block shots, and that last play was a great example of how great a shot blocker he is. Again, Temple pulling everyone off the line. I'm not quite sure about that strategy, but
Evans hits the first. Evans a good free throw shooter at 82%. I don't know, what would that strategy be before, Dick? Would that be to just get your defense set, or do you have such confidence in your free throw shooter that you think he's not going to miss?
I think you're saying the score is 31-10. That's probably what you're saying.
Evans hits both. Here's Watson in the corner. Duckett. Campbell for three. Fires in and out. Rebound Temple. Breeswick will hold up and look for help, and Mark Macon brings it across the midcourt line. Inside, Causwell doesn't go. Duckett with the rebound. Savage moves baseline and hit the side of the backboard. Watson with the rebound in the basket.
I think Perry may have gotten a piece of Savage's shot too. He came over to get another block.
31-12, Temple on top. And again, it's a 19-point lead. Breeswick loses. Rutgers on the turnover.
John Chaney says they work every day on trying not to turn that basketball over. Everybody's got to make that V cut before they come to meet the basketball.
Oh, Carter with a beautiful move to the basket.
Nice penetrating move, which is tough to do against that matchup because there's always a lot of help. That time he found the opening, went right down the lane. Great move by the freshman.
31-14. Rutgers has cut it to 17. Macon trying to move against Campbell, loses the dribble. Here's Breeswick outside being played by Watson.
Temple use a very simple offense. They keep their two players on the block. This time it's Perry and Causwell. The other three players just use them for screens.
Macon cannot hit the shot from outside. And the Owls have cooled off a little bit now from the outside. Here is Carter across the midcourt line. He'll set it up. Darren Campbell in the corner to Duckett.
I think we can give the Rutgers defense some credit for that, too, Lou. They're playing pretty good pressure man-to-man defense.
Savage for 3. 31-17. And Rutgers has creeped back into it. They now trail by 14. Breeswick outside. Here is Evans. Offensive foul called against Temple. I believe the call's on Tim Perry. So Rutgers with a basket here can cut it to 12. The Knights have done a good job of kind of creeping back into this ball game.
Well, they're hanging in there. They're doing a great job with that defense. If you can see the inside play, they're fronting inside, trying to keep that ball outside, putting good pressure on the shooter. John Chaney, Jim Maloney, his assistant coach, long-time assistant coach, probably one of the top assistants in the country.
Watson for 3. No good. And Evans with the rebound.
That's what Rutgers needs. They need that legitimate three-point shooter who can be a little bit more consistent.
Perry, good move, puts it in. Up and around brother Lee Perry.
And that was a great move because Lee Perry was the help defense that time. Savage was on Tim Perry. He got by him. Lee Perry came over to help out.
Campbell. Carter. Watson is open. Bounce pass. Baseline. Up and in. Savage with a circus shot.
And a great move, a great pass by Steve Watson. He might have had the tendency to look for that three-point play. He saw that Savage was down there in that baseline spot, and it was a great move. He took that big step to the basket strong. Give Rutgers a little bit of an emotional lift here.
And Savage at the line will try to complete a three-point play, and he does. And Rutgers trails by 13. It is now 33-20, Temple.
Temple getting a little complacent. They built that lead up, and they're not quite as intense as they were when they started.
Into the game is Darren Pearsall, number 11, for example. This is Perry, moves baseline and is fouled by brother Lee Perry.
Tim Perry tough to contain inside. He's 6'9", being played by 6'5". Twice now he's gotten around Savage and gone to the basket strong.
Both teams are over the limit. This will be a two-shot foul as Tim Perry goes to the line. 69% from the free throw line and misses the first. Second on the way and good. He rattles it home. And it's a 14-point Temple lead. The Owls lead at 34-20. 5 minutes remaining first half. Watson for 3, air ball.
See Watson having a tough time. He is the perimeter shooter, probably the best perimeter shooter on the Rutgers team. Temple leaving him open, cannot hit the basket.
Tim Perry, this is an easy one. Macon in the paint, pops, doesn't go. Rebound knocked around, Carter the other way. He pulls up, did not have the numbers in his favor. Watson outside. Crowd getting on Watson just a little bit. Campbell. Savage for 3. Actually, they say, yes, a three-pointer. And Savage beginning to heat up from three-point range. It's an 11-point game. Rutgers has creeped back in 34-23. Keep in mind, at one point, the score was 28-8. That one does not go, but getting his own rebound and blowing the layup is Pearsall. Here is Campbell with a 2-on-1, and the Rutgers crowd beginning to get into it. Carter will set it up. Watson. Savage. Carter. Foul line. Puts it up. In and out. Rebound Watson. Perry comes down with it and draws the foul.
I'll tell you what, Rutgers is doing very well. They're doing a nice job on the boards on both ends, but particularly the offensive end.
And as we mentioned, the Rutgers crowd now getting into the ball game. Obviously, they didn't have much to cheer about in the first 17 minutes of this first half. But now, with 3:41 remaining, if Perry can hit both free throws, he'll cut the Temple lead under 10. First is good. It's a 10-point game.
Against the number 5 ranked team in the country, 5 or 6 or 4, depending on which poll you look at and which week you look at it.
Certainly one of the top teams. In fact, Craig Littlepage in the pregame interview mentioned he thought that Temple was as good as number 3 in the country. Second good. It's a 9-point game. 34-25 Temple. Macon fires short. Rebound, Rutgers. Carter all alone. Lays it up and in.
Another example of how important the rebound is down there. When Macon missed that one, Temple gets it back. They probably get 2. Rutgers gets a hold of it. They get 2.
Macon outside. Now inside the foul before the shot, it'll be on Lee Perry. He's beginning to pile up some personal fouls inside.
Well, that's going to happen because Rutgers is playing a physical game. They're giving up some size inside. They got to battle a little bit harder because of that. That is a second.
So for Perry, his second, and Causwell is at the line. He will shoot 1 and 1. Not a good free throw shooter, only 50%. He misses, but the rebound to Temple. Outside, short by Macon. Rebound, Rutgers. Rutgers can cut it to 5 with a basket this trip down. It has been a fine comeback by the Scarlet Knights. Watson to Savage. Up, no good. Rebound knocked around. Watson, and goaltending is the call. Credit the basket to Watson.
And a great move again by Rutgers. They're going down to that spot between the corner and the paint in there. And when they get it down there, particularly to Savage, he's really gone very strong to the basket. And then Rutgers are sending their rebounders to the basket, and that's what's keeping them in this basketball game.
Rutgers has outscored Temple 21-6 since the score was 28-8. Shot from outside, air ball. Perry in the paint, puts it up, no good. Rebound, knocked around. And Temple comes out with it. Fine hustle by Campbell. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 34-29 Temple. And the chant is for defense. Evans for 3. Yes!
And that's tough because he was at least 2 steps beyond that 3-point shot. That was a long-range jumper.
37-29. 8-point Temple lead. Watson. Carter regains, finds Savage, baseline, has it knocked away. Macon quickly up to Evans, 1-on-1, loses the ball. They call a foul on Campbell.
Evans put a nice little move on there, but I kind of wondered too if he didn't take a little bit of a step. He was continuing the dribble, made that little move to fake left on Campbell, then went to the right, contact ball.
I'll tell you, that 3-point shot by Howard Evans, Dick, was a very important basket for Temple. The crowd was into it. Rutgers was rolling, and Evans really quieted both the Rutgers team and the crowd down with that shot.
Well, that can break your back. First of all, it's a 3-point play, and it was 2 steps beyond that 3-point line.
Evans, to shoot the free throws, hits the first. He is one of the better free throw shooters, not only on Temple, but in the nation.
4 for 5 so far in this game.
Second is on the way, and good. He hits both. And just like that, Temple is right back up to a 10-point lead.
You talked about Howard Evans. He also ranks 4th in the nation with assists. So he's done a great job as Temple's point guard, making that steal.
Evans lays it up, no good. Tapped around, Watson with the rebound, loses. Macon, and now it's Perry. Here's Carter. It's a 3-on-2. Carter lays it up, passes back and out of bounds. No. Evans retrieves it before it goes out of bounds.
Just a high dribble, just bounce that ball high. Give the credit to Steve Watson on that last one. He dove on the floor to pop that ball loose.
Savage tried to save it, but it did carry out of bounds.
Great defense by Savage. They're working very hard to come over the top. Fans like that. Rutgers fans like that.
Breeswick back into the game for Temple. And Mark Macon to Evans. Macon wide open. Baseline jumper. Rattles in and out, but the rebound put up and in. Getting the roll is Causewell. And again, it's a 12-point Temple lead. 41-29. Rutgers made a run, had cut it to 5, but Temple has since scored 7 consecutive points.
Well, Howard Evans is kind of taking over the game, too. John Chaney says he's the glue that holds the team together, and he seems to be doing that very well. Last time down, though, Rutgers failing to block out. They've got to do that. They've got to keep Temple off the board. They allowed Causewell to come in and get that follow-up.
Rutgers will play for the last shot of the half as Craig Littlepage has apparently decided he would like to go in. Trailing by...
Gets into this whole coaching thing, really concerned about his players.
All right, Rutgers will move left to right on your screen. Scarlet Knights in the white uniforms, Temple in the cherry uniforms. Temple leading by 12. Rutgers looks to cut it to 10 on the first possession of the second half. Here's Tom Savage. Moves in the lane and loses.
And that first possession was so important for Rutgers to start with a basket and cut that down to 8.
Breeswick outside. Evans. Inside, Rivas. Rivas with the shot, doesn't go. Rebound, Perry. And Rutgers will come down the other way.
Rutgers staying with their man-to-man defense, which seemed to be fairly effective that first half, putting as much pressure as they can on Temple.
Here's Perry. Slow pace to start the second half as both teams really just passing around the perimeter looking for the good shot. Savage declines. Rutgers taking a lot of time off of that 45-second shot clock. Here's Carter. Perry loses the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Temple. Macon knocked it out. Just 7 seconds, though, on the shot clock. Rutgers will have to get a shot off quickly. Carter moves in the paint, puts it up, high off the glass, no good. Rebound knocked around, and Rivas with the rebound. And Evans quickly across the midcourt line. Wide open, Breeswick fires, no good. Rebound, Campbell.
Breeswick, what they call a streak shooter. He is not consistent. He can get hot in the game and hit a lot from that three-point range. Fortunately for Rutgers, he has not started that streak yet.
Neither team has scored here in the second half. We have played 2 minutes.
And you're right about the pace of this game so far in the second half. Rutgers going very, very slow, very deliberate, very little movement, running the clock down as they did last time, about 7 seconds, and then just trying to get the shot up.
Campbell, Duckett's open. Baseline way off, well short.
Duckett out of his position. He's usually inside, very rarely comes outside, and that could be why.
Perry off the back of the rim. Rivas draws the foul. Well, neither team playing particularly well here in the second half.
Difficult down the other end, too, against that Temple matchup. Very difficult to penetrate. They close it up, which is what happened that time when Campbell drove and he gave it outside to Duckett. Just does not have that perimeter shot. Ramon
Rivas, 74% from the free throw line. The 6'10" senior out of Puerto Rico hits the first.
Not a super player, but he certainly gets the job done for Temple and plays the role they want him to play. 2 key rebounds so far this half. Defensive and offensive rebound, takes up a lot of space inside, can be intimidating, gives him a strong guy inside.
Well, he hits both. And Temple by 14, 43-29. Rutgers again looking to pass around the perimeter. Here is Lee Perry. Banks it home. Nice shot by Lee Perry. And now the toilet tissue comes out of the Rutgers crowd onto the court.
Well, that's kind of the representative toilet tissue. I'm not sure he can 2 roles qualifies.
43-31 the score. Each team has scored 2 points here in the second half. Howard Evans brings it up for the Owls.
Temple, Temple very deliberate on their offense too. Very disciplined team.
Mike Breeswick for three. In and out. Spun out. Rivas got the rebound and scores.
And there's Rivas again. I got him for 3 rebounds so far, 2 offense, and he scored 4 points on the 2 offensive rebounds.
45-31. Bounce pass knocked away inside. And the foul, I believe, is on Rutgers. Anthony Duckett called for the personal foul. And that is Duckett's 3rd personal foul. Evans moving against Carter. Making inside. Tim Perry, baseline. Scores easily. 47-31. And the Owls have stretched it back up to a 16-point lead.
Anthony Duckett, of course, led Rutgers in rebounding in the first half. We said how important those rebounds are. So with 3 fouls, that could affect Rutgers' ability to rebound with Temple this second half.
Lee Perry, 1 on 3, banks it home.
Identical shot. I think he hit that same spot on the backboard. He found that sweet spot. He's on that side, shooting that strong jumper, almost falling away, high on the glass. Great move.
47-33, and Lee Perry has all 4 Rutgers points here in the second half. 15.5 remaining. Rivas inside with the hook, too hard, gets his own rebound and draws the foul underneath.
Rivas really the factor for Temple in this particular half. Jim Maloney up there, the Temple assistant, as you said. John Chaney, kind of cool, just sitting there, relaxing a little bit. Jim's been the assistant at Temple since '73, served 4 years. Lefty Dreisel's assistant, was a head coach at Niagara.
Duckett just picked up his 4th personal foul. He must sit down. And Watson back into the game for the Scarlet Knights. Rivas is at the line. His first is good.
Craig Littlepage looking for some perimeter shooting now with Steve Watson coming in.
Second on the way and good. So Rivas hits both, and Temple leads by 16, 49-33. Knocked away. Lee Perry scores.
And that time he did it without the glass, but still from that same side. If Rivas is a story for Temple this half, then Perry has to be the story for Rutgers. The only problem is it's Perry matched up against Rivas on the defense. He's got to keep him away from the boards.
And there's a foul on Temple. Howard Evans picks up the foul. Rutgers trailing by 14. Dick, they just don't seem to have that spark, though, that they had in the first half.
They've come out and they're very lethargic for hanging in against a nationally ranked team like this. You think there'd be a little more emotion on their part. Temple can afford to play without emotion. Rutgers cannot. Rutgers needs the emotion this game.
Savage moves baseline. Nice move. Puts it up too hard off the glass. And the foul on Watson, and he's not happy about it.
It was a tough one. It was a nice strong move on the baseline, but he just couldn't control the body going up for that one. Coach Littlepage, I think we could hear him all the way up here. John Chaney now up off the bench for the first time. Maybe he's going to start fussing and cussing, as he says.
Evans moves in the paint, knifes his way through the defense and draws the foul. And again, I think it's on Watson. There'll be 2 personal fouls on Watson within the last 30 seconds. One of the Rutgers fans upset. And Evans at the line, he'll shoot 2. Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of excitement in the first 6 minutes of this second half.
Strange beginning for this second half. Of course, you know, Temple, we said Chaney doesn't believe in playing with emotion. Men at work, if you will, so they don't have that emotion.
Evans missed a free throw, which is a rarity, but he hits the second. 50-35. 15-point Temple lead. 14-15 remaining in the second half.
Rutgers has got to watch now. This is the time where they seem to drop their guard in most games, and they can't afford not to score this particular time and let Temple inch up on that lead.
Savage for three. In and out. Rebound, Perry. Lee has played an exceptional second half. Misses that shot, but is playing well underneath. Here's Evans across the midcourt line, and he looks to set it up. Breeswick outside, being played by Watson.
Rivas, Perry still the matchup inside.
Rivas goes baseline, underneath, puts it up, no good, and Savage with a strong rebound. Here's Carter, quickly up court for Rutgers. Inside, Perry, turnaround, no good, rebound underneath. Breeswick loses, and they call a foul, I believe, on Rutgers. No, they say knocked out by Rutgers.
Call the ball out of bounds on Watson that time. He thought it was out on Breeswick. He thought for sure it was a Rutgers ball.
Craig Littlepage calls timeout. 13 minutes, 15 seconds remaining second half. There's a timeout on the floor. Temple 50, Rutgers 35.
We don't know why or where or when disasters will shatter lives. We do know why we're there, to put the pieces together, to reaffirm life. The Salvation Army, there because you care.
There he is, the Temple Owl is here.
A lot of tradition to it, Temple, besides the Owls in their basketball. Of course, Harry Litwack, when if you're a basketball fan and you think Temple, you think of Harry Litwack, their legendary coach in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Go back several years, many years ago, to Hal Lear, Guy Rogers, two great guards. The two guards they have now will rival that combination, certainly with Macon and Evans.
And you saw the Owl shaking hands with people in the crowd. Quite a thrill for those people, quite a thrill.
Good timeout by Craig Littlepage because his team just doesn't seem to be in the game, and yet they have a shot at it. They're 15 now. They can't let it creep any further than that.
All right, Temple will throw in underneath. And here is Evans across the midcourt line. The Rutgers crowd still in the game somewhat, although it's hard to imagine how in this second half. Macon shot outside. No good. Gets his own rebound. Here's Breeswick.
Darren Campbell breaking down there, guarding Macon, let him take that shot. He was releasing for the break instead of blocking out.
Breeswick, tough shot. Underneath, Perry has it knocked away. Macon recovers.
Look at the rebounding difference now. Temple getting 3 shots. Can't give him that many shots.
Howard Evans throws it away, but Breeswick in the right place at the right time blows the layup. Savage.
That time Rutgers, I think, giving 4 shots and still getting away with it.
Temple has not looked the same since that early spurt in the game where they were up by 20 points. They just have not played up to that level since.
Staying with their matchup, I'd like to see just a little bit more movement on Rutgers' part against that matchup defense. A little bit too much standing as if they're attacking a normal zone.
Savage tried to lob it over Tim Perry. Perry just kind of reached up and took it out of the air. Here's Breeswick outside. Evans inside. Tim Perry bounces off his brother Lee, misses the shot. Underneath, Rivas scores.
Got to stop Rivas. You cannot let him get those offensive rebounds. Got to block him out.
And Temple's up by 17, 52-35, 11 and a half minutes remaining second half.
Rivas with 8 points this half. He only had 2 the first half, but he's certainly been a factor this second half with 8 points.
Campbell for 3. No good. Rebound, Rivas. Evans quickly up court. Howard Evans, bullet pass to Vrieswijk, who lays it in. Basket, I believe, is good. And the foul on Rutgers.
That's why Evans means so much to this Temple team. That was really smart. Temple they're not what you'd call a transition team, but they will take the break if they get it. That time he realized he had it. He brought the ball down, got it to Vrieswijk, 3 points. Great play, started by Howard Evans.
Mike Vrieswijk is at the line. Outstanding free throw shooter. And he converts the 3-point play. Temple now has gotten back to that 20-point lead. The Owls lead it 55-35.
And Mike Vrieswijk shooting 5 for 5 so far in this game from the line.
Here's Savage, 3-pointer, no good. Rebound, Perry. Evans quickly. Vrieswijk for 3. Yes.
There's the difference. Temple comes down. They hit the 3-point play. Rutgers cannot have to call that other timeout.
Timeout on the floor. 10 minutes, 50 seconds remaining, second half, and it's all Temple. The Owls lead it 58-35.
Smoking can become a real burden, dragging you down, always getting in the way. And the longer you smoke, the heavier it gets. You know you should quit. Maybe you've even tried once or twice. But just when you think you're free, it's back again. The important thing is you can quit. Over 36 million smokers have. So keep trying. Get smoking off your back and out of your life for good.
There's a young, hard to tell if that's a Rutgers fan or a Temple fan. Looks like a Rutgers fan. And you can see that she's not real happy with the outcome of the game so far.
Like Temple, though, not showing a great deal of emotion.
Temple up by 23. At one time, remember, in the first half, Rutgers had cut it to 5. But it's been all Temple here in the second half. And Rutgers just, well, to be blunt about it, they just haven't shown a lot of spark.
Interesting to note, too, Darren Campbell. Really haven't seen him in the game yet. No offense from him, very few shots from him.
Campbell has the basketball right now. He's at the top of the key. Here's Carter. Campbell being played by Evans. Watson gets it into Lee Perry, but Tim Perry on the foul.
Good movement by Steve Watson that time, swinging that baseline.
Always an interesting psychological situation when you see brothers playing against each other on opposite teams. If you notice, they never talk to each other during the game. Lee Perry saves it out of bounds. Not only do they not talk to each other, Dick, they don't even look at each other. Very bizarre situation.
Well, I guess they figure they got to live with each other when they go home. And I think Mom and Dad are here, and usually when they are, one's in the Temple sweater, one's in the Rutgers sweater.
Macon, sweet shot by the freshman, Mark Macon, who, by the way, Dick Vitale calls one of the best freshmen he has seen on the college level.
Dick who?
Carter with a nice shot off the glass.
I don't think that Dick Vitale's going out on a limb when he calls Macon one of the best. He certainly is.
Really, though, you talk about Mark Macon, and he has the ball right now. He really does show a lot of poise for a freshman. Rivas scores. Besides, of course, all the athletic ability that he possesses, it's that poise, I think, that's the intangible thing that sets him apart from the others.
Absolutely, and it's interesting to hear them talk about how they got him. Their coach, Macon's coach, called Temple and said, I've seen a tape of your game. I think that this kid plays the way you guys play. He's got a complete game. He's very disciplined. He's got control of himself, and Temple went to see him, and the rest is history.
Carter with a nice move high off the glass, and he gets the bounce. 62-39. Temple on top with 9 minutes remaining in the second half.
And if Rutgers wants to make a run, if they want to try and get back in this game, they've got to do something about Rivas. He's just dominating too much inside.
Macon outside Vrieswick for 3. Yes.
Hence the term streak shooter. 2 in a row, both from 3 points.
65-39. 26-point lead for the Temple Owls. Inside, Lee Perry. Turn around off the glass, no good. Rebound, Vrieswick. First time these two clubs met, as Evans fires from 3-point range in and out, and Watson with the rebound. Carter the other way, and he'll pull up. I was going to mention, the steal. Watson retrieves. Here's Campbell. First time these two teams met, Temple won it on the score of 86-60. It was a 26-point blowout, and Temple really was up by as many as 35 down in Philadelphia. Watson moves baseline and draws the foul, the blocking foul on Temple. And this game really taking shape as the first one did.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to look at Carter's last move. I think I'd have wanted to push that ball in. At this point, down as much as they are, with no emotion, with no enthusiasm, I think they might have to start pushing it a little bit more, maybe gamble.
Steve Watson is at the line, and a whistle, so that shot won't count.
Well, the whistle was just a little bit, that was a shame. What happened there? They blew the horn to send the substitute in. Watson had already received the basketball. The substitute continued to walk on the floor. The official wanted to try and stop that. Now let's see what decision he's going to make, besides bowling out the clock operator.
And Craig Littlepage wants an explanation. John Chaney too. And they'll talk it over in front of the scorer's table.
Maybe the official's going to negotiate there and said, John, look, you know, you're up 65-39. How about if we give him that basket?
And John talking to Craig about it. And meanwhile, Watson stands at the foul line. Watson, as you see. He's trying to figure out what's going on.
The two coaches still there. They're deciding to have a little huddle themselves.
Chaney and Littlepage arguing at midcourt. Interesting. Something you rarely see. Opposing coaches getting into it a little bit at midcourt. Here's Watson. And he misses.
I have a feeling that they might have been talking about the other three guys out there in the black and white stripes.
Second is on the way and good, so he hits 1 of 2. 65-40. Temple by 25. 7:55 remaining in the second half. Howard Evans walks it across the midcourt line. Rivas, Vrieswick pumps it up, no good. Macon, and the foul underneath. Well, watching Evans walk the ball across the midcourt line, watching this second half is like watching paint dry.
Where you get that 6'5" guard able to get down inside and get the rebounds. Rutgers has a change in defensive assignments now. Mark Peterson in there. Mark Peterson playing Rivas. Let's see what he can do. He's got a little bit more body, a little bit more weight to throw around against Rivas.
Mark Macon is at the line. 77% free throw shooter off the front of the iron. He'll get another. Macon averaging 18.6 points per game, the leading scorer for Temple, just a freshman. Don't see that too often. Hits a second, 1 of 2. 66-40, 26-point lead for the Owls. Savage. Watson. Carter off the glass and in. Nice move by Craig Carter.
That's a penetration. I'd like to see Carter do that a little bit more. At this stage in the game, he can afford to make some mistakes because it can't get too much worse. A good opportunity if he does that to get some emotion in the Rutgers team, to get a couple baskets like he did that time.
Frieswick for 3. He is on fire from three-point range.
And I believe that's 3 straight for the streak shooter, Mike Frieswick. Temple 7 for 12 from the three-point range. Rutgers still shooting at 2 for 14.
Here's Savage. 27-point Temple lead. Peterson hands back to Watson. Baseline jumper. Good.
Awfully nice play by Rutgers. Good sound fundamental basketball. Drop the ball down inside and then leave the spot from where you dropped it in. Peterson and Watson working very nicely that time.
Macon for 3.
But you know, you can work nicely with one play down the other end, but when you got to fight Temple putting up about 4, almost 4 straight three-pointers, that's pretty tough to contend with.
72-44. And Savage dribbles it off his heel. 6 minutes remaining in the game. Macon for 3. Incredible three-point shooting exhibition by Temple.
And John Chaney, I said it before, but his total quote was he has permission to take whatever he wants. And that's the first player he's let do that. He says he's a free spirit. I'm not going to stop him this year. Next year, we'll fuss and cuss at him as a sophomore.
And Carter draws the foul. This game has deteriorated for Rutgers. They are down by 31. Temple has been shooting from a different area code in this game.
I think Temple, of course, following their game plan. John Chaney's philosophy is just do your job out there, keep working at it, don't panic, and they've just hung in there and just keep eking it up and eking it up, showing no emotion, but doing what they have to do out there.
Carter is a 69% free throw shooter, and he hits 1 of 2. 75-45. It's a 30-point differential. 5:35 remaining. Rivas against Peterson. Turnaround, no good. Too hard off the glass. Macon puts it up. The tip by Causwell, and the foul is on Temple. They'll call it on Dwayne Causwell. For Temple, their 15th foul of the second half. That's the 3rd foul on Causwell.
Temple's offense, of course, puts Macon in great shape to get rebounds because they always have 2 guys on the block, and then Macon's hanging down there to either pop out to get the ball for an offensive move, or if he's down there when it's taken, he's in great rebound position.
Campbell, bounce pass. Lee Perry loses. Causwell comes up with it. Here's Howard Evans quickly dishes off to Macon. He stops, pops, and rattles in and out. But Causwell retrieves for Temple. Frieswick for 3. No good. And Lee Perry with the rebound.
All of a sudden, Temple's decided that it's three-point country, and they're starting to fire him up. But the interesting thing, Macon really knows where he is because he has those feet just behind that three-point line. Doesn't even seem to look down. He just has a sense of where he is on that floor in relation to the three-point shot.
Watson dumps it inside to Peterson. Back outside. Watson back to Peterson. Puts it up. That's a nice shot by Mark Peterson. Little soft hook with the left hand.
Nice shot and nice play. It was that same move they made before. They're really working well together down there.
75-47, 4:20 remaining. Frieswick moving against Watson. Bounce pass, Rivas. Puts it up, no good. Rebound knocked around. Macon, turnaround, good. Mark Macon. And a foul after the shot, I believe. It'll be a 1-and-1. No?
John Chaney checking the score. I think what that was called that time, I believe, was let the ball alone after the basket. Temple's hitting it. I think he gave him a warning. If they do it again, he'll call a technical foul. Rutgers looking for the technical foul that time.
Rutgers trailing by 30. Here's Peterson, baseline, boxed in trouble, puts it on the floor, turn around, and Causwell knocks it out of there. Here's Evans with a 2-on-1. Beautiful pass to Frieswick, who blows the stuff.
No problem. John Chaney just sits there too. I'm watching Chaney, no emotion whatsoever, saying, fine, you gave that a shot. Didn't work, no problem. Mike Frieswick trying for that jam.
A gorgeous pass by Howard Evans. Well, that was probably the most exciting moment of the second half. Here is Perry behind the back pass. Carter in the lane, floats it up, no good. Rebound, Coswell. Frieswick to Evans. Beautiful pass. Brantley lays it up and misses it. And Temple, not exactly playing like the number 6 team in the nation right now, but they are up by 30. 3 minutes remaining in the game. Watson, baseline, puts it up and in. Steve Watson with a nice soft shot from about 5 feet.
Watson working this right side very nicely now.
77-49, under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Temple will win their 18th game of the season and still be undefeated in the conference. Frieswick fires it up and draws the foul. It'll be Carter outside. Tommy Everson looking to come in for Rutgers, and also for Temple, Jerome Dowdell, 6'3" junior out of Atlanta. Lee Perry sits down, and Lee, I don't know whether he'll be back in or not, played a pretty good game for Rutgers, especially in the second half.
He kind of dominated offensively early in that second half. Mike Frieswick 5 for 5 from the line tonight.
And a number of substitutions now for Temple. Also into the game, Sean Johnson, number 34. Derek Brantley, 24. We mentioned Dowdell, 22. Darren Pearsall, number 11, also into the game. There's Frieswick at the free throw line. And he'll be coming out also. So he hits the free throw, and he comes out. So Tom Kasikas, number 23, sophomore at Cherry Hill, into the game, and John Chaney has cleared his bench.
And Mike Frieswick on those 2 foul shots winds up with 21 points.
79-49. It's a 30-point game. Everson fires up a hook. Peterson underneath loses, and the rebound to Temple. This is Dowdell, number 22. He'll bring it across the midcourt line for the Owls. Pearsall, number 11. Chance for some of the Temple reserves to get into the game now. Pearsall loses, draws the foul. Watson called on the personal. Pearsall took a shot to the face, but appears to be okay.
Certainly did.
John Chaney talking to Frieswick about something.
He told me the other day, he said, great players see the game in slow motion, and so they're able to react. They fake that defender. They see the defender up slowly. They're able to get around them.
Tom Savage back into the game for Rutgers. Darren Pearsall is at the line, 6'7" junior out of Chester, Pennsylvania. And his free throw is no good. He'll get another. What is known as mop-up time now.
Pearsall having a tough time learning the Temple system. He likes to run the floor and play a little bit more wide open. He's trying to learn to play a little bit more disciplined like John Chaney wants.
80-49. Temple by 31. Campbell for 3. No good. Johnson with the rebound for Temple.
Not sure what happened to Darren Campbell this game. That could be like his second shot or third shot of the game.
Katsikas. Pearsall moves baseline, fires it up and in. Darren Pearsall with the baseline jumper.
Not a bad move, and that's probably why John Chaney is going with him, trying to give him a little bit more playing time.
There's the story. 82-49. Carter fires up a shot and hits. Craig Carter has come alive offensively here in the second half. 82-51. But overall, a poor offensive game for Rutgers, only 51 points on the board. This coming after the 92 points that they scored against Rhode Island on Thursday night. Just a different ball game altogether.
Well, of course, Rhode Island likes to run a little bit more, and that'd have a tendency to take both teams' score up. Temple plays a little bit more controlled.
Johnson squares up. The turnaround is nice. And Temple's reserves are playing very well.
That has a tendency, too, to affect the turnovers. We talk about Temple only having 9. Their opponents only turn it over 12 times because Temple plays a little bit more ball control.
46 seconds remaining. Carter in the paint, floats it up off the glass. Nice move by Craig Carter. 30 seconds remaining, and Temple by 31. Here's Dowdell moving against Carter. 20 seconds remaining. Kathikas. Three-pointer, no good. Rebound knocked around underneath. Carter tries to save out of bounds. 6 seconds remaining. Well, the Owls have won 11 straight against Rutgers. This will be their 12th consecutive victory over RU. And Rutgers will drop their 13th game in a row. Shot at the buzzer by Brantley, no good. And that'll do it. It's all Temple. The Owls improve to 18-1. Rutgers drops to 3-16. Temple remains undefeated in the Atlantic 10 at 12-0. And Rutgers drops to 0-11. Dick Lloyd, a couple of quick closing thoughts.
I think it was the kind of game we expected. Temple showed us why they're a top-ranked team. Vriesrich shows us why he's a streak shooter. Macon shows us why he's one of the best freshmen in the country. Rivas, I think, did a great job on the board second half. Evans holds that team together. For Rutgers, I think Craig Carter showed some good offensive moves near the end with his penetration. Peterson, I like. He's really working hard. He's banging the boards. Rutgers could use some more of that.
All right, that'll do it as Rutgers loses to Temple. Your final score, Temple 84, Rutgers 53. Our next Scarlet Night basketball game will be the first week of March when the Dukes of Duquesne come in for an Atlantic 10 game. And, of course, Lady Night basketball here on Channel 6 as Lady Knights take on Old Dominion, a game which you'll also see this week on Channel 6 and also later on the season against St. Joseph's. That'll do it from the Lewis Brown Athletic Center. For the rest of the TKR Cable Sports crew and Dick Lloyd, I'm Lou Brock.